Today we'll be exploring the best engines BMW ever produced. And on our number 7 spot, the S54 B32 HP DOHC inline 6-cylinder E34 M3 CLS producing 360 horsepower was one of the most beautiful revving engines of all times. It produced erotic noises, arousing car lovers all around the world. The CLS featured a revised cam timing, modified performance exhaust, and a new carbon intake system that enabled it to make the most erotic noises. The CLS could hit 0 to 100 in just 4.9 seconds. It was a classic, an instant classic. And on our number 6 spot, the S14 inline 4-cylinder E30 M3 Evo 3 producing 238 horsepower was a thing of magic. It was a real beauty, and it's one of my favorites BMW engines, to be honest. The S14 was formed using an M10 bottom end and a M88 cylinder head. The S14 powered the M3 into touring car royalty. It dominated the racing circuits, and it's one of the most successful racing cars in the history of racing. It dominated racing circuits. The earlier variants of the engine produced 195 horsepower. The final 2.5 variant produced a whopping 238 horsepower. And on our number 5 spot, this is one of the best engines BMW ever produced, and it's one of my favorites, to be honest. The inline 6-cylinder in the 3.0 CLS Batmobile. The multi-valve 3.5-liter setup produced 440 horsepower in the 70s. And on our number 4 spot, DOHC inline 6 E26 M1 producing 277 horsepower was one of the best engines BMW ever produced. The M30 SOHC straight 6 was good, but coupled with the 4-valve head, it was fitted into the M1 Supercar and the M5 Super Salon. The M5 Super Salon version was fitted with the Bosch Motronic fuel management setup. And on our number 3 spot, it's arguably the best engine BMW ever created, the S70 V12, fitted into the McLaren. Apparently Honda had bagged the gig, but couldn't settle on a delivery date. So Paul Roush from BMW did, and produced an engine that surpassed the 550 horsepower prerequisite McLaren had set out, and gave them an engine that produced 70 more horsepower. This engine propelled the McLaren into the history books, making the McLaren F1 one of the fastest cars in the world at its time, and one of the most fastest accelerating cars even by today's standards. And on our number 2 spot, second on our list is the M10 inline 4-cylinder engine from the 2002 Turbo, producing 170 horsepower. This engine started off producing a modest 72 brake horsepower. It was later modified and enhanced to produce 130 horsepower in the 2000 Tii model, thanks to fuel injection. Then it was modified and produced 170 horsepower in the 202 Turbo. This little engine formed the basis for the 1980s M12 M13 engine, producing 1,500 horsepower. And on our number 1 spot, the first engine BMW ever produced was an inline 6, produced in 1917, producing 185 horsepower. That seems like a lot of power, right? But the engine was a fucking behemoth 19-liter engine, which powered an aircraft. This is one of the coolest BMW engines ever produced, and will take our number 1 spot.
For more of our videos, click on the subscribe button.
And don't forget to like this video.